hey, everyone. Is that topical? Is that from something, or are you going bananas?
You've got to be kidding. We're doing.
I know. I'm fucking with you.
Okay,
you were a trumpet. You're being a trumpet. I know.
Scared me.
I know. I'm fucking. Hey, everybody. This is your podcast for April 18th, 2020. How the fuck are you doing?
Hey, everybody.
So
it's nice to be in your home and in your ears.
It's nice to be inside. Let's start with some good news. Okay. As you may or may not have noticed on the last podcast, our sound card, our mixing board fucking died, right? And we said, fuck it. We're killing the lobster, and we done it. We done it. We bought a new audio. It's the happiest.
It's the best fucking thing ever. It's shiny.
It's shiny.
It looks beautiful. This other soundboard was straight 1980s.
That was the first one we ever used.
Like you would turn it on and it would sound like you were turning on something from Back to the Future. It would go like
We were using a mixing board from like 15 years ago. And then for those of you that don't know, if you want to record into your computer, you need what's called an audio interface so that the microphone signals can be converted into digital signals.
Okay, nerd.
And for those of you that are real tech nerds, we got the Focusrite 18i8. And for those of you that are in the know, that's a good fucking audio interface. So we are next leveling it. We told you we'd make changes, and we fucking did it.
You guys are giving us money, and we are spending it on the fucking podcast.
Boom.
Hallelujah.
So I think from this point out, I'm hoping that there will be no lobsters. There will never be a glitch, because we got a new fucking audio interface running through a new fucking laptop. It's on the big screen. Mike can see now if he's peeking. Mike doesn't have to ask me how long we've been recording anymore.
That's true. I don't have to do that shit anymore.
That's down there at the bottom, Mike.
Oh, man.
That? We've been going for 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
Beautiful.
So we're streamlining over here.
The thing of beauty is a joy forever, Jared.
I got to say, before we get into our topic today, I was at the store, Real, getting these donuts. Mm-hmm. And Germany, I got to give props to Germany, is nailing it during the pandemic.
Yep.
At Real, at this grocery store I went to, they fucking sprayed my hands with disinfectant, sprayed the cart with disinfectant. Everyone had to have a shopping cart going in. Fucking free hand sprays, man.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's good shit.
And people are taking seriously the social distancing. Like I went up just out of nature and was like, hey, what do you? And they're like,
no, they take it very seriously. No, it's true. And Germany is actually one of the top countries in that. I could get into it, but I'm not gonna because we talked about it already. But like, they got these Corona taxis out here where they'll drive to your house and test you and shit like that. You know?
Really? I didn't know about that.
It's fucking crazy.
I dreamt last night about testing. I dreamt last night about testing because I saw somebody taking a test. It looked like a fucking pregnancy test, right? And they
You saw it in your dream?
No. I saw it before I went to bed. I saw somebody
like on the internet.
Instagram. Doing a test.
Yeah, I see.
And then I dreamt about it all fucking night. Like it was terrible. I would touch a new thing, I would take a test. I would go, I'd be near somebody, I'd take a fucking test.
Yeah, the stuff you do right before bed, man, has a way of creeping in.
I was taking tests left and right.
Yeah, I was
wasting
I had
the
weird
precious
dreams.
resources.
Last night I watched Captain Marvel, and I was reading up on Monteverdi, and they fucking mixed somehow.
Oh, no.
I had a lot of weird dreams, dude.
Nice.
A lot of sexually confusing dreams about Monteverdi. So let's get into it today.
How was Captain Marvel, though? I heard it sucked.
It sucked. Yeah. It was not good. So we're getting off topic here, but like these movies where they have like a female lead, and that's the whole point of the movie. It pisses me off when they beat you over the head with it because it's like, you don't have to make it about the fact that she's like a woman overcoming this oppression. If you just make it about her, it's interesting enough.
And
do you know what I mean?
It shows exactly what you want it to. A woman can do all that stuff, can be all the superhero stuff.
Yeah, but the whole movie is her, like, all these montages of her, like, falling off a bike, and the boys being like, we knew you couldn't ride a bike, and she's in the army, and they're like, we knew you couldn't climb a rope. But it's like, why don't you just, like, if you just had a woman be in Iron Man, and then just don't change the story.
Right.
It would be more effective.
And that's
don't make it about her being a woman. Make it about the story.
That's the normalization of it.
Yeah, just make it normal. Don't make it. But Captain Marvel was all about this whole fucking Like they made it about her being a woman. That was my biggest problem with it. Like it was an interesting enough story.
What that does is it's interesting. It has the opposite effect. Mm-hmm. It has the effect of saying it's somehow special that she's a woman and accomplishing things. But like a woman accomplishing things,
normal.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course a woman is going to accomplish things. Women are actually very good at doing that.
Yeah.
And I if you make something like extraordinary about it, then you're putting in the mind of people that there is something. Oh yeah.
For me, it did the opposite. It did the opposite because there's a fight scene at the end, and they play "No Doubt." I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl.
Oh my God! No.
It's like just make it about her being a hero. Don't make it about her being a woman.
Right.
It was annoying to me that they did that because it's like you're taking away from it. Anyway.
Plus, again, we've talked about always how in art, if you make something too obvious, it becomes non-artistic.
Yeah, and we'll get it. You know, but like they did it like every 20 seconds. Like she's in the bar and this like she's in the Air Force, I think, and a guy comes up to her and he's like, it's called the cockpit for a reason. Like, what
the fuck?
I don't know. I mean, women do put up with that, so you could have thrown one or two in there, but they were beating you over the fucking head with it, and it made it about that and not about her journey. And her journey was interesting enough. And I just spit all over you. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyway. So Captain Marvel's all right. Let's get into it. You got anything else you wanna warm up on? Or you warm? You feel warm?
I have all kinds of stuff that I was thinking recently, but I'm not going to say any of it. So let's fucking go.
We are talking about
L'Orfeo,
the one and only L'Orfeo. We don't do a lot of early stuff on this podcast. I think it's partially from my end. Like early composers, like Monteverdi or like L'Orfeo. Sometimes it's not so fun for me because there's so little information. Most of Monteverdi's stuff was lost. There's not so much information about like rehearsals and premieres. You know what I mean? There's a good amount, but these composers like from the late 17th or the late 16th century,
you know everything
17th
about
century.
It.
Well, like once you get to Bach, you know a lot more. But with Monteverdi, there's not so much info. But let's do some early stuff, man.
Look, I have a colleague who he says, basically anything before Mozart, I can't even begin. He's like, I have no interest in it. I don't like the music at all. And I think to myself, when I listen to Monteverdi, I think to myself, fuck that person.
Yeah.
This music is so fucking good.
No, it's so fucking good. And they were doing a lot of shit back then that I believed in that somehow fell out of style.
Oh, you know what I mean? fucking chromatic shit going on.
All that stuff. So let's just get into it then. So to give you all a point of reference, the date for the first performance of this is February 24th, 1607. So
1607, dude.
That's when we're back. We're back in 1607, just to give you a frame of reference. Monteverdi bridged the gap between the Renaissance and the Baroque. So that's kind of his niche in this whole thing, his place in time.
I love this kind of shit because that's almost 200 years before our country was a fucking country.
Yeah. Like,
that's amazing.
When people think of old music, they think of Mozart, but Mozart was like long after this.
Absolutely.
You had Bach between this before you got to fucking Mozart, you know? So we're getting pretty far back there. And this is not the first opera, but it's definitely one of the most performed operas of that time.
Absolutely. So I heard it said, this is not the first opera, but this is the first good opera.
Yeah,
which,
you could say that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a way of putting it.
Still, because like I said, a lot of Monteverdi wrote whole operas that are gone. There's whole composers that we don't know that fucking exist.
Yeah, there are only three. He wrote a bunch of operas, but there are only three that exist now. And this is the first one that he wrote.
Right.
And the other two are from way later.
Yeah.
From way, way, way later in his life.
And
you'll find out all about that, all you sponsors, because we're going to do a secret sponsor podcast right after this. All about Monteverdi's life.
Which some of it will sneak its way into this podcast, I'm sure. But like a lot of these composers, guy had an interesting life. You know what I mean? He had an interesting journey through things. So before we get into the opera itself, of course, as you may have guessed, this opera is based on, how do you say it in English? Orpheus?
Yeah, Orpheus.
Right? This is the Greek legend Orpheus, which, of course, was with a lot of these operas back then, it's not an original story. They take it from some story that already existed. And so it's a Greek thing. And it's Orpheus was just this legendary musician who could fucking charm anybody with his music, went into the underworld. It's the story of the opera is very close to the original story.
Yeah, I mean,
with some small changes.
It's fucking crazy because so many of these early operas were on this story.
Yeah.
They had such a hard-on for Orpheus and Eurydice. Like, seriously, there were, I think, well, the second one by Jacopo Peri was Euridice, right?
Yeah.
So that was the second opera ever composed.
Yeah.
The first one was Daphne, which is a different story, but seriously, the first two, that's 66% of the first three operas.
And if you go around like in parts of Rome and stuff, they had these Orpheus. Is that how you say it? Orpheus mosaics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like they fucking loved painting this guy, and there's lots of like windows and paintings of Orpheus. He's always sitting on a rock, charming the fucking animals. They said he could even charm rocks themselves.
Ooh,
man. He could make these rocks rock
hard. Oh, damn it! I can't believe I didn't. No, I didn't. I don't believe I didn't get it.
I thought you might find this interesting. In my reading about this, I found out there's also like kind of a sub-religion called Orpheism.
Oh, really?
Did you know about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's based on like beliefs and practices from this. And one of the big things about Orpheism is they said that Orpheus invented the mysteries of, it's Bacchus in Roman, but in Greek it's called I don't know the Greek name very well. I think it's like Dionysus or something like that. Dionysus. Yeah, exactly. That's the name of that's the Greek name. What's confused about this is Romans and Greeks often have different names for the same fucking person.
I mean, Rome. I've been listening to a podcast on the origins of Rome or the history of Rome, right? Mm-hmm. And Romans, they didn't really, like, as the culture started, they didn't really have their own rich culture.
No.
They just took shit.
Sure,
they just took culture from other people. And one of the biggest sources, of course, was Greek culture.
But the thing about this religious thing, one of the things which you might find interesting, because you talked in the last podcast, a couple podcasts about you wanting to try mushrooms because like opened up your mind or whatever.
Right.
This mysteries of how do you say Bacchus in Greek? What was it?
Dionysus.
Dionysus, yeah. It's called the Mysteries of Dionysus, and this was a ritual where people would just get fucked up. They would get fucked up on, of course, wine, but other like trance-inducing like intoxicants and like dance and like shit like that. And they would do it just to like remove inhibitions and social constraints and just see where their mind went. And that was one of the basis. Like that was one of the big parts of this Orpheism, like religion, and that Orpheus apparently is the one that kind of started this whole thing.
A big pursuit back in those days was to take some more drugs to see if you could get a better bleed out of it.
Bleed?
A blowjob.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, they just all wanted to.
I don't know. I've heard stories about Bach.
Get all fucked up and get laid.
Yeah, dude.
Which, come on, I could get in on that religion.
Well, back then, music was either all about having sex or not having sex. No, but really,
there are two states of being.
There were.
Inside somebody or not inside somebody.
It was secular or it was religious.
Right.
And it was like people were talking about like orgies. I want to fuck. Or it was like, fucking's wrong. And there was not really a middle. Like, like these days, it's like you have a casual like wank to Pornhub and you're like, eh. But like back then, it's like you're either doing orgies or you're like a nun.
Right. Right.
There wasn't really a middle, It's fucking great, man.
Which this guy, I'll save it. Never mind. I'll save that for the biography podcast.
Yeah.
But to answer my own question about why this might have been so popular, the other thing was this was during the Renaissance, right? And during the Renaissance, one of the biggest things going around was humanism. Okay, and they tried to basically rediscover the ideals of ancient Greek culture, tried to reinvigorate those ideals, and one of those ideals was humanism. And the idea of Orpheus is that the power of something like music, or the power of the arts, or the power of thought, can be of value in our culture today. So when he's a representation basically of humanism because of his use of the arts to influence the world around him.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Relevant in today's times.
Relevant.
With all these Instagram concerts going on.
Oh, yes, we got a bunch of fucking Orpheuses here.
Bunch of Orpheuses. Bunch of orifices. Walruses and Okay,
where's that going?
Somebody knows what that is out there. Someone cracked
What is it?
That's a really obscure reference to this freestyle rap somebody did on a show. Somebody knows what I'm talking about, right?
Okay, wow, I'm very intrigued.
Right, we're going to get into the opera, but The thing is like I said earlier, like this comes at a really interesting time because you're bridging the gap between the Renaissance and the Baroque. And one thing that happened in the Baroque period that gives me a rock hard on, okay?
Okay.
Is that you had this basso continuo stuff, right, going on. And this is basically for you, I mean, most of you know what this is, but it's like you had like a bass line and some like implications of harmony, but then people just jammed.
Yeah.
People just jammed. You needed an instrument that could play chords, so a harpsichord, like piano type thing. And the bass instrument, the cello, whatever was going on, usually played the bass line for the most part, but people basically jammed. You know what I mean? And the singers were doing the same thing. And so there was a lot of freedom to play off each other.
Yeah.
And so the performances then were special based on the musicians you had.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would be like, holy shit, you think that was good? You should have heard it in Berlin. Like they had this guy on lute and they had this fucker singing.
They had that guy on lute.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
And they were together, man. And like you have this in the rock world, but in the opera world these days, it's like it's all about the singers and then the orchestra's good. But like a good recording of Tosca always sounds the same orchestrally.
That's right.
Subtle differences, but it's not like some guys, like you had like the best pianist in the world in the orchestra pit and it's like, let him do some shit. Okay, hey, before this aria, we're going to give him 2 minutes to play something,
right.
Okay? That would be fucking awesome.
That'd be tits, dude.
Yeah. Tig-old ditties.
Tig-old ditties. No, look, it should. I don't know if you were just planning on jumping in right away, but I feel like we should say something about where this opera got its real start, which is not with Monteverdi.
Okay,
it's at the wedding in Florence that Monteverdi's patron Vincenzo actually was at. It was a de Medici wedding, and that is the first time that an opera was fucking performed. Now, this Vincenzo, what's his name? Gonzaga, right?
Yeah.
Was his patron.
Right.
He was at the wedding. He was the Duke of Mantua, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Or
we're going to get into this a lot on the next podcast.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to because this is important, right?
Yeah.
This guy, like the Medicis, were kind of like, oh yeah, cool, thank you for that musical taste, right?
Yeah.
Which it was like a watershed moment of this fucking of music history because you actually had somebody attempting something like opera, which again, it's cool that opera's not like, how did opera evolve? And you're expecting like this winding thing. No. It was like somebody said, I'm going to invent opera.
Right.
And they fucking did it. They invented it on that day, but it didn't necessarily take off. And so there is evidence that Monteverdi... Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Monteverdi was not the Kapellmeister or the Maestro di Cappella in Mantua at the time. But he was very, very highly regarded by his patron, this Vincenzo.
Yeah.
And he would take him all over the place, right? For instance, did you know the word spa?
This sounds like a Monteverdi podcast.
Comes... No, it's not just because it's important for what... We said this is the first good opera.
Right.
But we need to say what, and it's only the third opera ever fucking written.
Okay.
So it's important, I think, to give why Monteverdi fucking did this.
Yeah.
I'll save the other. But now that I already mentioned this, this Vincenzo would take Monteverdi around with him because he thought he was very talented, and he went to a place in Belgium called Spa, and that is where the term spa comes from.
Yeah, like a spa where you go to feel good.
Like where you go to feel good and you go in the sauna and shit like that. That's where that comes from. Monteverdi was up there being naked with his patron in the spa.
Nice.
Took him also, theoretically, they can't prove that he was actually there to the wedding.
Yeah, right. Of course, yeah.
So either Monteverdi saw this opera and thought, fuck that, I can do that better.
Yeah, he probably did because the female, the soprano that sang that show ended up in one of his shows later.
Exactly, which is why I brought it. Which is why I brought this up.
Yeah. Okay.
So they had these singers in Florence,
right?
And the one then came and was a performer in the premiere of L'Orfeo.
Yeah, totally. So I mean, he probably then saw it.
Yeah,
unless he's taken his like patron's word on like she was fucking good, man.
Well, I mean, apparently he was knowledgeable about music, so he probably would have taken his word had he gotten it. So both are plausible. I like to think that Monteverdi was there being like, all right, get my hands dirty in this shit.
They at that point in time, there's some drama that went down, which we'll get into in the next podcast.
Into it in the next one.
At that point in time, they were pretty buddies, and they definitely were traveling around each other. They were definitely plopping balls on hot wood in the sauna together.
Definitely.
And once you get to that level with someone, you're gonna go to a wedding together. It's the natural next step, man.
Did you pack your frills? What are those fucking things called that you wear around your neck?
The Shakespearean collar
the fucking frilly things. Which, by the way, it should also be. It should also be. You don't necessarily think you have these ideas of different people and events in history,
right.
And it's weird to think that they overlap. But Shakespeare was writing his shit at this time.
Yeah, that's what always blows my mind is like what was going on at the time and stuff like that. But it's like also like who was alive at the same time? Like people that you think are hundreds of years apart like knew each other,
right?
Not even like were alive at the same time, but fucking knew each other or were influenced by each other. You know what I mean?
Yep.
The world was. You think the opera world's small now? I mean, it was big back then, but it's like the world was smaller back then.
Yeah.
And just to give, so we're going to get to the opera now, but Monteverdi is considered an Italian composer, but you always have to remember Italy didn't exist as we know it now.
Exactly.
It was a geographical thing, but Monteverdi was basically born as technically a Spanish citizen because Madrid was basically in charge of the city. But this is the next podcast.
Yeah, that's the next podcast. We got to pull back on those trains. Pull back.
It's hard to have both in your head because usually we do one then the other.
That's true.
Okay, so let's get into it. This is a 5-act opera, and back then the tradition was you didn't take breaks. There were no curtains up, curtains down. Often scene changes were shown with music and stuff like that. So it's 5 acts, but it's a light 5 acts. How long does a show of this run? Do you know?
Like 2 hours.
Yeah, so it's not like a Wagner 5-act thing.
Right.
It's not like that. But basically, the show starts with a prologue, right? Mm-hmm. And so you got 5 acts, but only 2 scenes, right? You got the pastoral shit, which they fucking loved.
God, they
shit back
fucking
then.
loved shepherds.
Shepherds, dude. Which it represented everything. It represented having sex, not having sex.
They lived in cities. Like he was living in a city. There weren't shepherds walking. There weren't shepherds in the fucking city.
No,
you had to go out.
Yeah, you would imagine based on these operas that they were all like riding like in the mountains, like just looking at sheep.
I wonder if anybody ever said.
City,
I wonder if anybody ever said to him like, "Hey, have you ever seen
a shepherd? It's like those old drawings where someone tries to draw a cat and they fucking can't. Like,
I'm just going to describe to you what a cat is like.
Yeah, because it's not like now, like, let's take a drive out there. Like, you had to basically walk out, of the city. Or you had to, like ride a horse or some shit.
I wonder if the shepherds knew what fucking celebrities they were. What goddamn celebrities. There were like tabloids written about your favorite shepherd, for God's sake.
They were stars, dude.
They were fucking stars, and they had no idea because they're out there with their like fucking elbow deep in sheep shit.
Yeah, man. They don't know.
They have no fucking idea. But in the courts, they're like, yes, the shepherds.
Yeah, they fucking love the shepherds, dude.
Shepherds.
It represents a lot.
It represents a lot.
But so you got the shepherd party, and then you got, of course, the underworld. And these are these two scenes, right? So you got shepherd, underworld, shepherd. That's the scenes for the 5 acts. So the action takes place in this field, and there's of course this toccata, which I think was what Mike was singing at the beginning. And then,
which, by the way, is also the beginning to the Monteverdi Vespers.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Composed later.
They always reuse their shit, man.
Yeah,
fuck it, why not? And then this proceeds. Then when La Musica comes in, right? The like very literal representation of the spirit of music, right? And back then, they really liked to fucking sing exactly what they were doing, Yeah. And Greek choruses and shit, they were all about narrating what was happening. They were like that dude in Inception, where like someone's like, like,
oh yeah,
what's limbo? And he's like, limbo is it's like he explains the plot. Like that's what these choruses and these like little fucking spirits and shit did.
Well, that's what the whole. That's what the whole fucking thing of a Greek chorus is.
Yeah.
Is to comment as society.
Yeah, exactly that. But then these little spirits, they often give like insight into what you're about to see. And so like La Musica like welcomes everybody, and then she talks a little bit about Orfeo and like who this person's gonna be, and then then that's pretty much it, right? But this power, there's like this ritornello that in the strings that like represents the power of music.
Yeah.
And this is really one of the first or earliest examples of like a leitmotif, actually, because it comes back in the opera, where it's like anytime we talk about the power of music, you kind of hear this
I never even thought
thing.
about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
that is kind of like that. Yeah,
people talk about like Wagner and stuff, and like it starts like then, but like man, even back then, it's like people like that's a pretty intuitive idea to have.
Yes, it is.
You know that like Mike walks in the door, it's like da 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 ba, and then like if you come to the door later, I'm gonna be like da 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 ba, and then if you don't come to the door because you're dead, I'll do it upside down. Right, I'll do it upside down. Ta 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 ta. You know? That's fucking good shit. But that's pretty much the prologue, man, and then we're into Act 1. Of the show, which of course you got the sheeple and all that shit coming in, and then you got Orfeo and.
Now wait a minute. Can we talk about something?
What?
I want to finally talk about something that I've never heard anybody fucking talk about. So they're all talking about it's the wedding day of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yeah.
And they keep talking about Hymen. We have taught, like, they keep singing about Hymen. Every fucking old opera I've ever done, there's a Hymen in it.
Yeah.
And I giggle every fucking time.
Yeah. Because of the hymen.
Because of the hymen.
Yeah.
Can we fucking finally, can somebody say it out loud?
You just did, man.
I am. I'm saying it to all of you, and all of you can fucking giggle about how everybody comes in and it's hymen, and it's okay. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about? Hymen, I found out finally, is the fucking Greek god of weddings.
Ah, okay. I wonder, hey, where does that name come from?
Definitely. I'm sure that's where it comes from. Was that a lobster? What is that? I don't know.
There better not be a fucking lobster.
I have no idea.
If it's a lobster, then it's the microphones.
Okay.
We're narrowing it down. If there's a lobster, then it's the goddamn microphones, man.
Don't fucking worry about it.
Right.
Let's get back to hymens. I was all juicy on hymens.
That must be where the name comes from then.
It must be.
Yeah, and I'm not going to explain to you all what a hymen is. You better fucking.
If you don't know what a hymen is, then you need to get out a little bit more. You need to stop listening to the podcast and go grab a drink at the bar.
If you don't know what a hymen is, it's not for you, right? So anyway, so exactly, they're going to have a wedding. All the fucking people come in, right? They love each other. This whole thing happens, and then the chorus is singing about the wedding and all this stuff. And then I think everybody fucks off. And then at one point, the chorus comments on how Orfeo used to be he used to be one like who sighs were food and weeping was drink. So people fucking loved him. And now he's in love and he's settled fucking down. Okay, he's finally having this shit.
But what they mean is like, before he found Eurydice.
Yeah, he was.
He was sad.
He was sad. He was
a sad piece of shit.
Yeah. So he was charming people, but he wasn't happy.
Right.
He was charming these goats, and the goats were not satiating him in the way that his future wife would.
Which, by the way, the goats were satiating a lot of those shepherds.
Oh, man.
It gets lonely.
Why do you think
there's nobody around.
Yeah.
There's nobody around. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Why do you think they're so fucking famous? So that's basically Act 1, right? And then Act 2 happens, and so then you got Orpheus popping back in, and they're always just singing about the beauty of nature and this shit, right? And so then Orpheus is then singing about his like formal unhappiness and this shit, like, man, I was so fucking bummed in this shit. And so this is interrupted when the
messenger comes in.
I liked how these characters were called the messenger.
Right.
Fuck giving them a name,
well, why? She's not that important.
They should do that now. Parpigno? No, man, the salesman or whatever. Like,
why not? I don't see any reason for him to have a fucking name.
I guess he sings his fucking name. That's different, I guess. I don't know. And
That's
so anyway,
true.
Messenger comes in and is like, she got fucking bit by a snake, man. She's fucking dead.
Which I like. I like that death.
Yeah. You gotta figure out how to kill her. Like snakes, that probably has something to do with the Garden of Eden. I don't know.
No, this
snakes.
is Greek.
This is Greek.
This is a Greek.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
This is a Greek thing.
Yeah, but snakes have always been kind of like,
Yeah, that's right. Snakes have always been kind of. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm a snake.
I'm a snake.
I'm a slippery, slithering snake. So of course, then the chorus is like, oh no, right? They do their chorus thing. No!
Oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
It's the microphones, dude.
It must be the microphones.
No.
Oh, no.
Well, it's good we spent $400 on a fucking audio interface. No, man, it's the mics.
All right.
Oh.
Let's get to the end of this, and then we'll plug the sponsors.
Oh, God. No, dude. this podcast can't be ruined by these lobsters.
No, fuck that. Fuck that. Let's keep going.
Oh, God. Okay.
Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about the slippery snakes. By the way, I feel really bad for this messenger.
Yeah.
You know what this messenger said after bringing the fucking message? She said, I guess I'll just go live in a cave and deal with my sorrow for the rest of my life.
Fuck, man.
And I'm like, Jesus.
Straight Gollumed it.
You need to get your own life.
Yeah.
I know Orpheus feels bad right now. We all feel bad for Orpheus, but you cannot do that.
You're just a messenger, man. People need messengers.
Don't you have some friends?
No, people need messengers. You're an essential worker.
Don't
gotta
you
fucking...
Put on a mask and get the fuck back out there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So anyway, so the Orpheus is like, oh man, you're dead and I'm breathing. This is fucked up. And so then this is when he says like he's gonna go to the underworld and like I'm either gonna get her back or I'm gonna stay there with you. Right? This is this big thing. He leaves and chorus is like, oh no, and then it fucking ends, man.
Right.
That's Act 2, and then we're to Act 3, which is the fucking underworld. And Mike's doing something here, so your screen is broken as fuck, man. So then we're in the underworld. That's the next scene. And like I said, usually these scene changes back then they would do without a curtain. So there'd be some sort of music and they would try to make it artistic. And so Orpheus then is guided by Speranza, right, to the gates of Hades, which is like
Speranza means hope, doesn't it?
Yeah, La Speranza. Yeah.
Which is funny because of what is over the gate.
Right, and so over the gate it says, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Right, this shit. Abandon hope, and then hope leaves.
And then hope's like, all right, I guess
I'll fucking go. Did you read
then.
that? Which, it's, like I said, very obvious. And so hope fucks off. Orpheus is then confronted with the ferryman, which, I don't know how to say that in English. How do you say
Karen. Karen.
Is it Karen what they say in English?
Yeah.
Okay. Caronte, I guess, in Italian.
Caronte, right.
Yeah. And so anyway, so the ferryman's there, and so he's pretty like shitty to Orpheus, and he's like, I'm not taking you across the fucking river Styx, bitch. And so Orpheus is like, oh yeah? And so he sings this flattering song about like how powerful you are, how fucking nice you are. And this guy's like,
he's like, fuck that.
And the ferryman's like, fuck that shit. And so Orpheus is like, oh, really? And so he pulls out his lyre, and then he plays, right? And he soothes him to sleep. And so then Orpheus steals the fucking boat, crosses the river into the underworld.
Crosses the river.
And that's all of Act 3.
Crosses the river Styx.
Yeah. Styx.
This is Styx, of course.
We're getting busted for copyright hard, dude.
Fuck them. Let's do it.
Nice. Styx is a good fucking band, dude.
Styx is an underrated band,
Styx, dude. You got to go listen to Styx right now, dude.
What was I going to say? Yeah, he gets him and he fucking gets over that river to the underworld, which, by the way, I love my casting. I can't wait to get to the casting section.
Yeah, we're going to do a Hollywood casting
I've got a good casting.
So Act 3, he gets this man to sleep, and then he goes to the underworld, right? And so he's in the underworld, and then we meet the king and queen of Hades, right? Of hell, right? And so you got Proserpina, which is the queen, and then you got
Prosperina, oder?
Prosperina, yeah, sorry.
Oda.
We're mixing language.
Fucking believable.
I got like 3 going on, man. It's fucking hard. And then you got Plutone, the king, right?
Right.
And so the queen of the underworld is like, man, that song was so good, man. Let him take his fucking like fiance out. And so she convinces him basically to do it. And so he's like, you can fucking take her out, dude. I'm gonna lead her out with you, but like, if you fucking look back, she's gone.
Which why? What is he getting at?
Why
is he doing that?
I didn't understand that either, to be honest. It's like, like why? Why do that? Why is that a condition?
And why just on the journey? If you want to fuck with this guy, why you can have her, but you can never see her again. You can talk to her, you can touch her, you can hold her, but you can't see her again. I would do that for the rest of his life, not just on the trip.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
If you want to be the Lord of Hell, come on, you can do a little better than that. Just on the trip?
Just on the trip out?
What a fucking weak son of a bitch, dude.
Yeah, don't look back, man.
Don't look back.
But that's also biblical. All this stuff, like I know it's Greek and like Roman stuff, but it's like in the Bible, there's also stuff about people looking back. That's a big theme in a lot of these old stories. Is like if you fucking look back, you're dead.
Oh, you mean like Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yes. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like
maybe
what's with not looking back?
Yeah, it's probably about. Look, life was fucking hard back. I mean, we talk about how life was hard for like Verdi and everything, and it was. They still had plagues, but it wasn't like back then. I mean, life was just you are in this ridiculous wilderness of existence, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And every plague, every thunderstorm is the ire of the gods, for God's sake.
Sure.
So there's a lot of shit happening to you. There's a lot of shit going down, a lot of bad shit. And if you look back, if you remain in the past, you're going down. I think probably it's an allegory for this.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And then in this story, it's like very literal, though, you know.
Yeah.
And so he, of course, like some shit goes down off stage. He's like, what? And he looks back, and then she fades, and she's like, you done fucking killed me with too much love, man. And then she's gone.
But the thing is, I thought
said.
it was
too
also
much love, you know.
I mean, he is the king of hell, so whatever. You get to be as shitty as you like.
Sure.
But it kind of sucked that he didn't even look back because he wanted to look back. It was just like, what was that? Yeah. And she happened to be in his periph.
Oh shit! Right? I'd have been just walking my eyes closed out of there.
Which it was probably like an inner desire to get real psychological on you. It was probably like, what was that? Yeah. And then looking at her,
but also
thinking that he could do it as to get around the rules.
Yeah, but also she could talk to him. Like she says, like he looks back, he's like, "Oh, you fucking killed me with too much love." But was she not allowed to talk? Why couldn't she be like, "I'm fucking here"? You know?
Good fucking point.
I'm poking holes in your story, you fucking Greeks. I tell you.
He was wondering because he was wondering, how will I know she's there? I'm here.
Yeah.
Hey, are you there? Yes. Yeah. Done. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Problem fucking solved.
I'd close my eyes. Lead me out.
Right.
Lead me out. Fucking ridiculous, dude. And so anyway, so then you got this like chorus of spirits that of course like sum up what happened. Like, oh man, did you see that shit? And they fucking
that was fucking wild.
Yeah. And so then we're in Act 5, and we're back in the fields, and of course he's all bummed and shit like that, and he's singing about his loss and how beautiful she is, and how like he'll never fucking love again, man. And then there's like an offstage chorus being like, "Oh, he's never gonna love again, man," like just doing that shit, like Jim Gaffigan, right? Always commenting what you're thinking, right?
Definitely.
Is he gonna do these jokes all night? And then Apollo is, boom, comes out of the clouds and is like, bro, man. Fucking lobster. I can't believe it. Now we got to buy microphones, too. We'll get to this in a second. Anyway, so he invites him to come up, and then you can see her in the fucking stars, and they go to heaven as a happy ending, which, as most of you know, is not the original ending.
Right.
You want to tell him the original ending? You want me to do it?
No, you do it. Go ahead.
So then, like, the librettist is this, I think Striggio was his name.
Right.
The librettist for this thing. And in his original thing, Orpheus is like, oh, man, I'm so fucking sad and this shit. And so then Apollo doesn't come, but there's like a bunch of these wild, drunk women who sing of the divine fury of their master, the god Bacchus, right? And then it's this thing I talked about earlier, this, like, whole, like party and this shit. And they're upset because he rejected women and he won't escape their anger. And then it's kind of like unclear, but it just seems like there's like some sort of like rage orgy happening.
Right.
Some shit. I don't know, man. And so they did that for the first one, and I guess they were kind of like
going on.
They were like, this isn't so good. So then they changed it up, which I gotta say, the Apollo one with pulling him to heaven is probably more fitting. It'd be weird. It'd be weird to have a hate orgy at the end.
I can't believe I didn't remember this.
Yeah.
But I didn't remember to research this. But now that you mention it, I remember something about Orpheus being decapitated and his head singing on as it floated down the water.
Yeah.
And I cannot now look. This is really bad because.
For the opera or like the old play?
The old tale or something. And it was one of those things that wasn't set because how the fuck do you do that?
Yeah.
How can you show that on stage?
Yeah, no, it'd be cool if someone like did the research, found that, because of course these days you can, and like implemented that in.
Somebody has done the research and I definitely just remembered it right now, which sucks.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate because like, we've talked about it before on the podcast, but these things, like, people handle these with such gloves and these museum pieces, and they're afraid to change it. But like back then with Monteverdi, it's like he didn't write a lot of shit, and he wrote in letters and shit. He expected people to bring their own collaboration to it.
Right.
If you're a good fucking whatever player, like, bring something to the fucking show. You were expected as a musician to sit there and like add to the piece.
Yeah.
And people it's such a passive job. You look at these orchestra people or these chorus people or even people who have sung the role 60 times and it's just so boring because you're not allowed to have any of you in it.
Right.
You're just a fucking radio man.
Yep.
You know?
No, we talked about...
they were like jazzing it up back then. It was like jazz. Like, you think jazz is new with like, oh, they improvise. That's what makes jazz cool? No, man. They were doing it back then.
Yeah.
They would fucking... They were doing that shit, dude. That's good shit, man. Lord of Pharaoh. It's good. It's good stories, man. And those Greek stories, man, basically everything now came from those fucking Greek stories, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fucking archetypes all throughout literature, throughout all of history. I mean, you have the same sort of stuff.
And this shit. It's like the same fucking stock characters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But good stuff, Monteverdi. Bravo on that shit. So you finally got a good opera going on.
So we're gonna move on now. I don't know. Do you want to do anything else or save it for the next one?
No, we got it. We got to save some of this sweet factoids for the.
So let's talk about some shit then. So that was L'Orfeo, and in the next podcast for our secret sponsors, which will also be released on Saturday the 18th, alongside with this one, as we always do. We're going to talk about Monteverdi's life. A lot of interesting stuff happened in his life, including a plague that he lived through, which affected his art, which is what's happening to us right now. So a lot of relevant things to talk about there. So Mike and I are going to get deep into that in the next podcast. Look, I'd like to first talk about an app we've been talking about lately, Opera Radar. Our buddies out at Opera Radar, they updated their app to accommodate finding operas to streaming services. So if you want one location digitally, you don't want to read through a whole article or something like that, but you just want to be like, where the fuck is L'Orfeo? Where can I see L'Orfeo streaming? Then you can go to Opera Radar and figure that out. Or if you want to know like who's fucking streaming operas and you don't want to deal with, like I said, articles, you just want the information, click, there it is. Opera Radar has updated the stuff to do that for you. Normally, Opera Radar is showing you how to go to operas, where you can see operas, specific operas, or by location, which operas are playing in Chicago. Also, it facilitates buying tickets all in one place. But now, streaming through Opera Radar.
Absolutely. This guy does all the research for you. You don't have to fuck around with, what is it? Are they doing it now? Are they doing it later? What is it? And you fucking click through 1,000 tabs on a website. No. Let this guy do it for you.
Yeah, we know him personally, so he's doing good work. And actually, I know some stuff going on. So you're going to be hearing Opera Radar more as things come up. But you heard it here first. Good. Look, sad news. Lobster apparently is relentless, okay? I'm not sad that we bought this super expensive fucking audio interface.
Gorgeous.
It's beautiful. And even if the lobster's still here, the way we can mix things now. There's so much control.
Everybody talked about you guys would be too loud here, or I had to take my headphones off because you were getting too loud. That was because we would be speaking into two mics, and it would go into the soundboard, and then it would go out of the soundboard into the sound card as one audio.
Yeah, mixers always export in stereo.
Right.
So all microphones, so you can mix it in the mixing board, but like if Mike shouts, I couldn't separate his voice from mine. Or on the last podcast where it's like my mic went out, and so then you just had Mike's microphone for the last 5 minutes, so I had to like re-record it and stuff like that. If that had happened with this thing, then I would have some options to fix it in post.
Right.
So the amount of control we have here is fucking incredible. And I can probably actually even go in and figure out whose mic is lobstering, you know?
Oh.
Now that we have this. So I can do some research, but I have a brand new laptop. Okay, I have a brand new audio interface. It is not those. It is a cable or the microphones. We're narrowing it down, but if we've never promised anything to the loyal fans of SDAO, it is that we will hunt down the lobster.
And we will
kill the lobster. We will eat the lobster.
Oh, I am so fucking sick of this goddamn lobster.
He was fun. Do you remember? I think the lobster got coined on the Paul Brady episode Christmas Season 1.
Oh, what?
If my memory serves me right, that's when the lobster first fucking happened.
Are you serious?
Right? Yes, because I remember I think Paul Brady might have even coined the term lobster, but that's definitely when it happened.
Oh, man. Okay.
Because you said like it sounds like throwing a lobster into a pot of...
Right.
Or if it wasn't that, it was definitely before that. It definitely happened in the episode, but this is Season 1. This is Season 1 shit.
So we've been living with this fucking crustacean for quite some time.
He has been creeping up in Season 3.
Yeah, he's been really making his presence known. He thought that he was an equal partner in all this.
No.
He thought that SDAO was Jared, Mike, and the lobster.
No.
And he didn't know that we would fucking kill you if we could find you.
He's
and
running.
We're trying.
He might have been in the mixing board,
right? And
but he might have moved to the cable or these mics. But we will rip out every piece of equipment.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh well, fuck you. How about that? Fuck you. Fuck you and your little lobster ass. Fuck
but it's
you.
good to know that it's definitely, because back then we had a mixing board hooked to a shitty audio interface, hooked to a shitty laptop. With my digital audio workstation was also old. Mike, I didn't tell you, I also upgraded our digital audio workstation, our DAW. This is Reason 11, bitch. This is the newest shit. Okay. It's these mics. It's the mics. Everything else here is fucking top of the line, man.
Listen, I've got a message for the fucking lobster. If you can turn that up.
I'm ready.
I've got a fucking message for you, lobster, you fucking dick.
Give it.
Fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you.
Jamie Lee Fox.
I have mine all the way. I have that all the way up.
No, you can hear it. It's not meant to be heard now.
Fuck you, lobster. And I don't think anybody has ever said "fuck you" better than Jamie Foxx whenever he sang it like that.
Oh, that's good shit.
Oh man. Fuck you, lobster.
Anyway, so Mike and I, we sprung to buy this audio interface. We bought it with our own fucking money. If you want to help, we would appreciate the help. You can do that a number of ways. You can go to Patreon/Sex, Drugs, and Opera, and you can become a monthly sponsor, and you get something back for your money. Of course, you can join a monthly sponsor podcast, or you go to buymeacoffee/Sex, Drugs, Opera, /Sex, Drugs, Opera, buymeacoffee/Sex, Drugs, Opera. You can buy us a beer on there, and you can do anything from $1 to $1,000. You know, on there.
And you guys,
one time you can do it with credit card, PayPal, however you feel comfortable.
All those links are on our website. Go visit there, so you don't fuck it up in the URL. We'll just take you right there. And look, we need all the help we can get to kill this fucking lobster.
Yeah, and if you don't want to give money,
fuck
then you can also, of course, subscribe to us on YouTube or give us a 5-star review on Facebook. Say these guys are fucking awesome. Even if you don't believe it, just help out, huh? Anyway, that's it. So now we're going to move on to the Hollywood casting.
Fucking run!
Always brings
we
back
haven't
memories,
heard that
dude.
one for
Always
a long
brings
time.
back memories, dude.
Seriously.
Back in the day, season 1, we were doing a lot of those, but
we were doing castings without doing the opera.
Yeah.
Which now that I think about it, we got to go back and revisit some of those castings that we didn't do the operas for. We should fill those in so that we have opera summary and casting always.
I'd rather redo the ones I did back then. I think we did flute. I think we might have even done bow in.
I did some good ones. I'm not redoing shit, dude. I put time and effort.
I'm all about updating. So, for those of you that don't know the Hollywood casting, we just basically take the characters from the opera and then we say who we would have play them using Hollywood actors. You want to go first or second? Or you want to go one for one? Now, we usually go first. You want to go? I'll go first.
You can go first if you want.
I usually go first.
It sounds like you want to go first.
Well, no, it's just we're finding a rhythm to these things. And I usually go first, and then I shit talk your selections. How we usually do this. Okay, so let's go with the boat guy first.
I row the boatman. Did you think I was going to go High Saboya?
I did, but I'm glad you're moving on from that. Good. What Caronte? What's he called in English?
Karen.
Karen?
Yeah. You're going to go from there first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Work my way up to the
Whatever.
good stuff.
That sounds good.
So I did for him Robert Shaw, which is the boatman in Jaws, the dude with the mutton chops.
Okay, that's nice.
I just went straight up boatman for boatman, dude.
Oh, I went in a completely different direction.
As you usually do.
Go ahead. That's good.
And then for the Queen of the Underworld, I did Helen Mirren, which you know who that is.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't know who that is, look her up. You'll recognize her picture. You'll be like, okay, Helen Mirren. Because I wanted her to be like, she's an evil queen, but she has compassion.
Yeah, that's good.
You got to have both, and I thought she was able to do that. King of the Underworld, I went Christopher Lee, dude.
Yeah, okay. Didn't he die?
In real life?
Yeah,
I think so.
Well, I thought okay, cool.
I've used him before because
I
know I've talked about he has a recording of him singing Faust.
Yeah. It's really, really good.
Well, it's okay.
And he has a fucking metal
and a metal
band.
album. Yeah, he has a metal album, and then he sings the Golden Calf aria from Faust. You can find it on YouTube. It's okay, but it's like the dude had a lot of talents. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. How do you say Eurydice? Is that how you say it in English?
Did you? Yeah, Eurydice in English.
We just did 5.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
I did Natalie Dormer for that.
Who the fuck?
From Game of Thrones, dude. You watched Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
didn't you?
of course. Which one is she?
She was the smirky fucking queen.
Oh, Cersei.
No, dude. You know Natalie Dormer.
Oh my God, she's so fucking beautiful. She's hot as shit. No, I know who you mean.
Right?
Of course I know who you mean.
Yeah. I chose her because for Orifice, I did Chris Evans. Captain America.
Can he sing? Can he sing?
They made out in Captain America.
Can
and I was like,
he sing?
Can
he sing?
I don't know. No.
You're fucking casting somebody as Orfeo that can't fucking sing.
Well, in a dream world, you imagine that he
To
could.
me, that was the only criteria. Who is a good actor and can sing?
Well, then I would have done Ewan McGregor.
Whatever,
I'll update it. No, I'll go Ewan McGregor then.
All right, you can do
Okay?
Ewan McGregor.
People shit on that guy, but in Moulin Rouge, I thought he had some sections where he showed he had a little bit of
did.
chops. He was belting high C's at the end.
I respect you
high
again.
C's.
I respect you again.
Ewan McGregor. Okay, I changed it.
I was
updated
pissed.
it. I updated it. No, that was
pissed.
just a joke. That was a joke to test you.
So I went for Karen the Boatman, Hyro the Boatman. I had this image in my head of a tiny little boat.
Yeah.
Which means I wanted to find the biggest person I could think of, and that was Thor Bjornsson, the mountain. So
tiny boat, huge person.
Tiny boat, huge person.
A little bit of subtle comedy in there.
Yeah, when he's taking people across, like he's this big slunked over person in the boat, and it's fuck you and fuck you, lobster, you fucking asshole.
There's
I don't
harmony.
care.
You hear that? There's 2 of them.
I don't care
There's 2 that
who
time.
you think. I don't care if you think Thor was a good one or not. You can go fuck yourself. No, fuck you, lobster.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There you go.
Get the fuck out.
So mountain for the boatman, I like it.
Mountain
I like
for the boatman.
Okay.
The wife. Okay, so I had a switch up now. Like when you were talking, I switched mine up.
It's allowed.
I cast first Angelica Houston.
Okay.
Do you know who she is?
No.
She's from the Addams Family. She's the wife in the Addams Family.
Okay.
Right?
But not the one with the boobs out all the time.
No, she had her boobies out.
Okay.
You remember the Addams Family?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But there was the one that had the boobs out all the time.
No, the wife in the Addams Family, the one with the long dark hair.
Okay, yeah.
Had her, but then I don't know why. I found somebody who's kind of like an equivalent to her, but that could maybe sing or understand the singing, so I changed her to Cher.
Cher.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wanted Cher.
It's smart. Okay, understand the singing.
Yeah, understand the singing, right?
Okay,
you got to be touched.
Okay.
Not that. Sorry, Angelica Houston. Maybe you can.
Yeah.
But I want Cher.
I like it. Okay.
You're out.
Go.
Pluto is Willem Dafoe.
Spider-Man.
I had Willem Dafoe, and have you ever seen? Oh my God, what is that movie? The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, no.
No, you. Oh my God, dude!
Sorry, man. Sorry.
It's from the Royal Tenenbaums director. What's the guy's fucking?
I can't remember.
Anyway, Willem Dafoe. Eurydice is Elizabeth Olsen. I've one of the Olsen twins' sister.
Yeah.
Very, very talented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I like her so much, but I do.
Yeah, you've used her before, I think.
I've used her before.
Yep.
Maybe multiple times, but fuck it. I
you
don't
can
care.
see why directors have actors they
Tim
just
Burton
use again.
uses fucking what's his name in every goddamn movie. Johnny Depp
also
and
that
every
woman too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I already alluded to it. My Orfeo is Jamie Foxx. That guy can fucking sing. Okay. That guy can fucking sing. Fuck you, lobster. Fuck you, lobster.
I fucking lost my wife. Yeah, man.
Yeah, seriously though, he is. Yeah, I don't care if you like it or not. Seriously. Yeah, lick my ass.
Let's
lobster.
wrap it up before there's too much lobster. Yeah.
God damn you, lobster. Anyway, I like that's mine. I'm done with mine.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I think I rocked it.
Yeah, no, you did. It's true. Music was such an important part of it. You got to think about that when casting.
And Jamie Foxx is not a tall man, so if you have him against the mountain,
no, that is
like
funny.
taking him down,
it shows the power of the music. Then
it shows the power,
which
of
is
the
what
music.
it's all about. Well, so yeah, man, that was L'Orfeo. And so Mike and I are going to take a quick pee break here, and then we're going to do another hour about Monteverdi. Guy had a really interesting life and journey throughout a very interesting time in music history. Lots of drama and changes. So we'll talk about that. Otherwise, we'll see you next week for our second video podcast. We'll be talking about the future of music. And then for our sponsors, we're going to do a pairing podcast, which is about
music
the origins of music.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Okay. See you then. Take care,
See you guys.